So, hi, my name's Victoria, and for my honors project, I decided to create a painting that highlighted some of the most important parts of the coursework that we went over. Um, we went over a lot of philosophy, so you're going to see a lot of that. So, I time lapsed everything, so you're going to see all of it, all of the process in a second here. So yeah, let's go right into it. So as you can see, I start off with a lot of stick figures, and this is to kind of represent a uniformity that a lot of society experiences when people don't stand up for what they believe in, or they don't come up with new ideas, or they just don't have ideas. We kind of talked a little bit about that in the kind of banality of evil, which is a little bit unnerving because it's a concept that suggests that truly evil things are boring and everybody is capable of something so simply done. One thing I would have changed if I had gone back and done this again is change the paintbrush I use when I paint these people, because the paintbrush I was using was really flexible, so it kept moving around and making the lines thicker than I wanted them to in certain spots. Okay, so I'm making like a little center thing right now. So on the left and right side is the kind of uniformity, and then in the middle there's going to be like different things that we talked about. Right now I'm starting a library. So one of the things that we talked about was that some of the great thinkers that we were discussing and reading about was that they thought that everything came from reason and thought, not like a higher being or anything sort of like that. Like we don't get our human nature or our thoughts and beliefs from some higher being. When I was doing this part, it was kind of hard because I was going up against certain colors. They weren't running together because I was using acrylics, so it was drying very quickly. But the paintbrushes I was using, sometimes they would behave in a way where they painted over an area I didn't want them to. Okay, so now we're in the next kind of session that I did. This was after I went to work, so don't mind my work uniform. I just was too lazy to change. You can see I'm painting kind of a background here. I chose yellow because it was kind of, to me, it was an enlightening color. It's used again in this painting. You'll see that towards the end. There's also little bits of paper that were a little bit hard to paint the outline, so I ended up just doing that in Sharpie after the fact. I also included, I didn't mention this, but I also included little purple bits in the people that kind of represented the people who were thinking but not doing anything, kind of like the thing, like they weren't speaking up against or for what they believe in or against what they don't believe in. Right now I've started the nature section, which kind of consists of like a waterfall and a background of kind of blurred out trees and rocks and everything. And this is kind of to represent the fact that some people believe that our human nature and our purpose comes from nature, that we're meant to take care of nature and along those sorts of lines. I opted to make the entire background of the waterfall kind of blurred because I was already having trouble doing detail work with the paintbrushes I was using with the acrylics, so I was not going to try and do intricate flowers. That would have been way too difficult for me, and considering I did not have the time to, do that, I opted not to do that. Now that I'm just remembering it. I didn't mention why I chose 6 different canvases. So I found that it would have been cheaper for me to buy a pack of 8 canvases rather than one giant big canvas. So that's what I ended up doing. You'll just have to hang it up in 6 different parts. I don't know. It could be a representation that each idea has many different parts. Okay, it is currently day 2 of working on this. It is, let's see here, almost 1 in the morning, and yeah, so we got, here, let me see, brain sunlight, so we got the nature part here, so that's the waterfall and stuff. Finished the background of the books and everything, but yeah. That's what we have so far. I have a lot to go. I have a lot of touch-ups to do. There are a lot of mistakes that are happening right now. A lot of detail mistakes. Now I have to clean this up and go to bed. So, this is the second use of yellow in this painting. So this top part was meant to be kind of like an enlightenment thing to represent sort of like God or a higher being. On the left side, I ended up doing a color pattern I didn't like, so I tried a different one on the right side and then ended up doing basically copying the same thing on the left side. I hadn't really known what I wanted to do, so I don't know. I was premature about the whole thing and put paint down when I really shouldn't have. Yeah. And I had a lot of trouble blending these, now that I mention it, because the acrylics were drying as I was trying to blend them, and then halfway through I remembered that you can use water to blend them, so that's why it looks a little inconsistent on the blending and that sort of thing, but you can't really see it that well on camera. The next part that I'm gonna do is the book portion of the part, not the library, but there's another book portion because a lot of religions believe in like a sacred text. So one of them is Martin Luther's 95 Theses. That's the one I'm painting right now. And then I continue, the second thing I'm painting right now is the Islamic sacred text. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because I don't remember how to do it properly, so I don't want to say something that's wrong, but that's what that particular one is meant to be. The third one that I'm going to paint is the Bible. There's no reason why the Bible was under the other two, it just happened to turn out that way. There's no reason. You can't see it here because I didn't fix it here, but I had meant to write in white acrylic, like 95 Theses, Bible, that sort of thing on it, but I forgot to while I was doing it, so I had to do it after the fact. Yeah. I also found, you can see me right now, I returned to painting people because I had put too much black paint on my palette. The reason I did that was because I didn't have a lot of paint to work with. I realized that while I was doing it, which kind of sucked because I had to minimize my use of paint more than I usually would have, and I didn't have anywhere to go to get more paint, so I only had what I had, and I couldn't do anything more than that. This one I'm painting right now is, that's the Bible text. To represent, I also went in with Sharpie to do the pages on that too. But yeah, you'll see the final outcome in a second here. And yeah, that was my honors project.